Hey men, Todd with Empowered Men Coaching. How's it going today? I hope well. I wanted to talk today about our inner critic. Do you have one? Because I sure as hell do, even after 20 years of self-personal development work, right? And it's interesting because I've coached CEOs, I've coached teachers, I've coached stay-at-home dads, I've coached men that punch a time clock every day. And even though the external environments of men in those lives look different, there is a common theme. There's a common theme of the struggle and the challenge that we all have. And I believe it's the inner critic. Have you ever asked yourself why one man is moving forward in his life, looks like he has some sense of inner joy, and yet another man is just stuck? Maybe not very happy, has an energy of discontentment. Well, I've seen these differences. And I think it comes down to how we handle our inner critic, right? There's a couple things that I think are important in handling the inner critic. And I think the way we handle it makes the difference if we move forward or we stay stuck, right? If we get what we want or we don't get what we want. The first thing about the inner critic that we have to address is our own sense of self-acceptance. Do you accept yourself? There's a few parts of that that are important to look at. The first part is, do you believe at your core, as a living, breathing human being, you have value and worth? Because guess what? You do. I mean, think about it. The mere fact that we exist, that somehow all these cells came together, life is created, we have this mind that can think, communicate, we can love, we can laugh, we can do things. That's pretty unique. And from our current understanding in the universe, we're the only ones. Now, whether you believe we're the only ones or not is not important. What is important is to recognize the miraculous gift that you are. So if you didn't do another fucking thing in your life, the mere fact that you exist makes you incredible. And that's the concept, that's the base that we all need to get a hold of. And we can build from that. Now, the second part of acceptance is, hey, you know what? Sometimes I do shitty things, right? I make bad choices. I show up in ways that I am not proud of, and it is not my intention to live my life looking like that or in that kind of energy or in that kind of action, right? There's parts of me that are ugly, right? There are parts of me that I don't want you to know about. You probably would run, right? It's true. I have those parts. I'm not bullshitting. But this part of self-acceptance is, I need to accept all of me, right? My bad parts and my good parts. And it doesn't mean that, okay, sometimes I act like a dick and that's okay. It doesn't mean that. It just means that, yeah, I see that, I do that. And then from that place, I can work on it. when I'm not resisting those parts of me that I don't like, when I say, hey, yeah, I see you, there you are, maybe we can do better, I can start to work on them. So self-acceptance is a wholeness. We have to accept all of us, all of ourselves. Doesn't mean that we don't do things to improve ourselves or live in a way that we want to live. It just means, yeah, it's here. Okay, now what do I do with it? The other part of self-acceptance is, you know, sometimes even when I'm doing my best, I make mistakes. I fall short. I screw up. And that's kind of painful, right? I mean, that hurts. It's like, ugh. But what's important is that I show myself some compassion. It's like, hey, yeah, okay. Didn't show up the greatest today. What can we do differently? What can I do differently? What actions, what choices can I change or do or make? And the thing is, when I do that in an energy, a space of compassion, oof, it's like I'm fueled to become better. I'm energized to become my best self. I trust myself that I can become my best self. Compassion is so important. How many of you, and I'm one of these guys, it's so much easier to be compassionate towards someone else when they mess up. Oh yeah, really, that happened? Don't worry about it. It'll be all right. You're okay. You're still a good person. Comes out easy. And yet, what about ourselves when we mess up? Is it easy to show compassion? I hope it is. I know in my life, it's gotten so much easier. And it gives me, God, I don't know even how to describe it. The desire to do better and not shut down and not give up. It's awesome. All right. So those are the 3 parts of acceptance. And we've been talking about our whole selves. What I haven't mentioned yet is the part of you that's brilliant. Are you accepting and owning and receiving the part of you that's brilliant? Because you are brilliant. There are brilliant parts of you. And the reason owning our brilliance, you know, maybe you're a fantastic piano player. Maybe you're a fantastic listener or a problem solver. Maybe you are, I don't know, a great dancer or singer or whatever. It doesn't have to be huge. It just has to be something that's really special about you, that you do really well. And you do it in a way that only you can do it. Right? All right. You take your brilliance and you use that part of you that's true, that's brilliant, and you counteract the story, the false story that you potentially have running around that allows your inner critic to be fueled, right? I mean, the inner critic. So what is the inner critic, right? The inner critic is, you're not important. You're not worth it. You don't count. You're a fraud. You're a fake. Who do you think you are? Does that sound familiar? That's the inner critic. And guess what? Those types of things run rampant in all of us. That's the commonality. So we can take what's brilliant about us and we can own that, and we can say, you know what? Maybe this event happened in my life. You know what? Maybe my parents never told me they loved me, and I feel really unimportant. And so we create actions and behaviors from that belief of like, I'm unimportant. Well, that's not true, right? It isn't true. There are many things important about you. Your brilliance is what creates and adds to that importance. What you're doing in your life and expressing is having an impact and a value on other people. So you take that and you change the story from I'm not important to like I have value. This is what I do. People love this. I help people, or I do it, or I provide joy or encouragement, or whatever it is that you do that's important to you, that's giving out and expressing to others and into the world. So that changes the story. And when you change that story, when the inner critic comes, says, you're not important, you say, bullshit. That's just bullshit. It's not true. You know, I don't know why we have the inner critic, but we all do. I haven't met anybody yet who doesn't. What the difference is, some people are much better at managing the inner critic than others. So let's get back to why are some men moving forward in their lives, radiating some sort of inner joy, and other men are stuck and discontent? I think it's what's going on in our head and what the story we're telling about ourselves, and what we believe we can do and what we can't do, right? So self-acceptance, accepting your whole self, accepting your brilliance, and using that brilliance and compassion to fuel yourself moving forward. Look, I'm no different than you are, men, okay? I have shitty days. Some days I'm like super coach. Some days I'm so powerful and so on and so, I am living in my mission. I'm changing the world. And I feel great. There are other days where I'm like, who do I think I am to even be talking to anybody, right? So what do I do with that? What do you do when that happens? Because even after 20 years of my own personal development and personal work, it still comes up. So what do? I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of feeling that way right now. And I know that's not true. And I know that I have an ability to help people. I've seen it over and over and over. So I know that's true. And even though I'm not feeling it right now, I can trust it. So what I do is I just choose the next action that supports that guy that I want to be, that I believe I am. The guy that shows up, who has something to offer, who helps people. And the guy in my own life who has created the life that I want to be living. I'm that guy. So I just do the action that supports it. And it's like, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, today's a shitty day, right? I'm not feeling it. That's okay if I don't feel it. I can still take the action that supports what I want in my life and what I want to do. So we all have these days. So again, what makes the difference between the guy who's moving forward, seems to have this inner contentment and joy, and the other guy that's just stuck and is discontent? The difference is you just keep going. The difference is rinse and repeat. Fall on your face, fail, screw up, get back up, recalibrate your thoughts, move forward. I do this every single day. Some days they're easier than others. That's it. I guess I just wanted to help make you aware of that inner critic, because if you can see it, if you're aware of it, you can deal with it. Anything in you that is telling you that you are less than, or not good enough, or anything that's going to hold you down, it's just simply not true. So come from the place of where you're brilliant. Come from the place of self-compassion. Come from the place accepting all your warts and flaws, and just move forward and create that life that you want to live. People are waiting for you. The world is waiting for you. Give it. All right, man. That's it. Thanks for listening. I'm Todd. I'm in Medellin, Colombia, in lockdown, but I think it's going to hopefully get a little easier. I help men take action to live the lives they want to be living. If you relate to any of this, if you have any more questions, contact me. Be happy to have a quick conversation with you or a long conversation, whatever it is that you might need. I'm here, and I will see you soon. Ciao.